we want to look now into the role of Airports Company South Africa in socio-economic development. Now, most companies talk about CSI. AXA has been very clever about it. They call it Socio-Economic Development. We're going to speak now to Refentse Shinners, Group Executive of Corporate Affairs Airports Company South Africa, who's with me in the studio. Refentse, good afternoon, and thank you for your time.
Afternoon, Thabo.
Why did you decide to call it socio-economic development, firstly?
We decided to align very early on with the elements of the BBBEE codes.
Yeah.
So in the BBBEE codes, it is not referred to as corporate social investment as traditionally known. It is referred to as socio-economic development because it looks at empowering people from an economic perspective to change their social circumstances.
How do you empower them from economic circumstance or standpoint? You've got 9 airports and most of them situated in communities. So how do you support those communities and how do you uplift them?
So the ethos of our SCD programs is to improve the quality of lives of ordinary South Africans by positively impacting their lives. So we focus on medium to long-term interventions. We know that our country is plagued by poverty. Yeah. In fact, we are among the countries with the highest Gini coefficients in the world. So when we looked at how we can make a contribution or how we can invest in communities, we said then, how do we alleviate that burden of poverty?
I see.
And we realized that the best thing to do is to break the cycle.
Yeah.
Because it only takes one person from one poverty-stricken family to lift the entire family and generations that come after them out of poverty. Right. So that's our approach.
So hence, your approach in education, basically.
It's a myriad. So it's youth empowerment. Yeah. It's women empowerment because if you empower a woman, you empower the entire society. Right. It's education and assisting people with disabilities.
What are the programs? So those are the focus areas. But what are their programs then within each and every one of those focus areas?
Okay. Within youth development, we have quite a number of programs that we support. I won't be able to mention all of them. Yeah. However, I'll mention per focus area. Within youth development, we have a partnership with Goodbye Malaria, where we are not only combating malaria in Southern Africa, but we're also identifying potential youth entrepreneurs and creating jobs for unemployed youth. In women empowerment, linked also to the Goodbye Malaria program, is we support crafts projects, which then manufacture some of the items that are sold through Goodbye Malaria. In education, we have taken the cradle to grave approach, saying that if we want to impact people or we want to contribute towards improved education, we need to start from early childhood development right up to tertiary. So we are coming in with interventions which look at supporting learners, empowering teachers, and supporting school principals through leadership initiatives. And then assisting people with disabilities, we provide them, and this is something we've done for a very long time, we provide them with assistive devices. However, now we're partnering with vets to bring in an element of technology through the Tsimologong project, where, again, unemployed youth will come into the Tsimologong project, and we will be requiring them to design solutions for technology-based equipment for people with disabilities.
How do you deal with the mindset of those who support, in a sense that they don't look at it as just financial support, but as a means to uplift them into being economically independent themselves? I mean, because people can just receive the money from you and say, oh, well, we'll apply again next year and they'll give us the money, but don't see it as a way in which this is lifting me up of where I am into being economically liberated.
So we've reviewed our model and we have shifted the amount of investment from being largely philanthropic to being an investment. So we're very stringent. We've introduced very stringent measures in terms of what we support and how we support them and how we disperse funds. And most important of all, how do we monitor and evaluate post disbursement of funds? And we look at a holistic approach to say, if it so happens that as an entity we don't make enough profits to be able to invest in communities, will these programs be able to stand on their own? Yeah. So we bring in an element of sustainability as well to say, for any reason, should we exit out of this, will it stand and will it continue to impact society?
I see you've won 2 awards for your socio-economic development programs. What do those awards represent and why do you think you were selected for those awards?
I suppose it shows the level of commitment that we as a state-owned company, because we are owned by the people of South Africa, as a state-owned company, we have in impacting communities, especially those that surround our airports. So when we look at intervening, we look at the people who are surrounding our immediate airports, and then the extended society as well. And also those awards look at how best we invest, or the bang for buck we get out of, or communities get out of those investments, in terms of, like I said, long-term sustainability,
right,
unlike just throwing resources at problems.
So you're looking at ECD, early childhood development, you're looking at school infrastructure, you're looking at education projects, disability sphere as well, you're operating there. But I see you've also got a footprint in the environment space, where you're environmentally responsible. So what are the programs that you're running there?
One program I'll single out links to youth development as well, where we have partnered with BirdLife South Africa and Ekurhuleni Metro, where we've identified 12 young people, also unemployed, out of school, and we have been taking them through a program to train them as BirdLife or wildlife officers. So if you've been out to the bush, you'll see that there's a bias in terms of black people, especially young black people who are in that space. So that's what we want to redress. But also it talks to our all environmental initiatives as an airport, because there's quite a lot of environmental care that we need to apply as an airport operator. So we're identifying opportunities for them to be absorbed through that, because we have wildlife officers as well, and also for them to be deployed at your game parks and other institutions which deal with wildlife, because we realize that black youth do not tap into that space a lot. And you'll be amazed the transition and transformation that has taken place since they came on board. They have become wildlife fundis, and they actually enjoy it. And most of them are from surrounding squatter camps in Ekurhuleni.
Wow. What would you say is the fundamental difference between, I suppose, what we are talking about now, socio-economic development and enterprise development, or is there a link between the two?
We have created a link between the two. I suppose it differs from organization to organization, but we've decided to create a link to say we will use socio-economic development as a stepping stone into enterprise development. So we will take people from zero startups, people who have absolutely nothing, people who are in the NGO sector, develop them to such a state that they can then migrate into the enterprise development space, where now we look at developing them into serious players when it comes to business.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming through. I appreciate your work, and thank you for sharing that with us. And people who want to take advantage of some of these programs, where do they go? Where do they begin?
They can visit our website. We have details there, and also they can contact us through our head office. But I think our website and our social media pages are the best entry point, so that we can respond timelessly to them.
Fantastic. That's Refentse Shinners, Group Executive for Corporate Affairs, Airports Company, South Africa.